Good evening. I'd like to call to order a special meeting of the Wauwatosa School Board on May 18th of 2010. We are beginning at 9:25 a.m. 9:25 p.m. Excuse me. Our meeting was supposed to begin at 7:30, but we were in executive session on another matter. We did post a sign on the door advising that this meeting would begin upon completion of our executive session, and we are now at that stage. So let's begin with a moment of silence, please. And I'd like to take a roll call for this evening's meeting. Mr. Croner? Here. Mrs. Mielfeld?
Here.
Mrs. Fee is excused. Mr. Meyer?
Here.
Mrs. Randall?
Here.
Mrs. Weber?
Here.
And John Ray is here. The purpose of tonight's meeting is to discuss and take action on the Memorandum of Understanding as it relates to the Race to the Top grant project. In that regard, we have one action item, and I would ask that you read that for us, Mr. Meyer.
It is recommended that the school board approve the Memorandum of Understanding between the State of Wisconsin and the Wauwatosa School District to establish a framework of collaboration in support of the state in its implementation of an approved Race to the Top grant project. If Wisconsin is awarded Race to the Top grant funds, the district will have 90 days to finalize their work and submit to the state for their Race to the Top funds, or withdraw from the Memorandum of Understanding and forego their local award and participation in the Race to the Top program without penalty or further commitment. And I so move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Croner. Dr. Ertl, I'm going to turn it over to you and ask that you give us some background information with respect to the Memorandum of Understanding and the motion that is before us.
This is similar to the first round in that there is no commitment, other than just keeping, if you want to say, we're still in the game and still have an opportunity. Without this Memorandum of Understanding, we do not even have the opportunity to submit for the funds if Wisconsin is granted the Race to the Top funds. One new document that came out does talk about the fact that I think it's somewhere, to be exact, $681,100 that we would be in line for at a minimum, with a maximum for other districts that are not involved. One difference this time around is the union, WEA, Debbie Brent in particular, has agreed to sign on as well. So there's collaboration with the association, and I think that's critical when it gets to talking about evaluations and evaluations of administrators and teachers, using summative and formative evaluations, and tying student performance into those evaluations and how that will work, which a lot of it we're already doing. So again, it's similar to making the commitment to keep the Wauwatosa School District involved in the process, but no other commitments other than that.
Questions or comments from board members? Ms. Randall.
I just want to clarify, I believe at an earlier meeting that Mrs. Ehrenberger indicated that we were doing our standards and benchmark work according to the Common
Core, yes.
So we're not going to be backtracking and redoing.
No, and actually, I think there's a lot of things. The one, like our AARA money or ARRA money, the stimulus money,
Yeah.
You can't supplant services. This money you can supplant, so we can use it to fund existing staff and existing programs as long as we're in compliance. And I think when you look through the application and when you get it, when it's posted June 1st, I think we'll see that a lot of the things that are required are things we're doing in our district, and it'll just be a way, hopefully, to fund some of it and also continue pushing us in a positive direction.
When we considered a similar issue the first time around, there were some requirements that would be imposed on the district. Have any of those changed, and have any of them become more potentially burdensome on the district if any changes have been made?
I think my understanding is there's more geared toward the changes that the legislature has made. in relationship to evaluations. And I know there was some looseness around the evaluation language in the legislature about using student achievement. But specifically, I'm not aware of anything that has become more burdensome for districts.
And in essence, a positive vote or a yes vote this evening simply leaves the door open to the possibility of obtaining these funds. However, before that would come to fruition, a further step would have to be taken, and if the board at that point in time felt that there was a reason to not move in the direction of accepting these funds, we would have the opportunity to move in that direction at a later point in time.
Absolutely.
Other questions or comments from board members? If not, I will take a roll call vote with respect to the motion for the evening. Mr. Croner?
Yes.
Mrs. Mielfeld?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Randall?
Yes.
Mrs. Weber?
No.
And Mr. Ray, yes. So the action item passes on a vote of 5 to 1. There being no other business for consideration under this or with respect to this agenda, I believe the motion for adjournment is in order.
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Mielfeld. And
Second.
bear with me one moment, please. And that was Mrs. Randall with a second.
Mhm.
All right, and then we'll do a quick roll call vote to adjourn. Mr. Croner?
Yes.
Mrs. Mielfeld?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Randall?
Yes.
Mrs. Weber?
Yes.
And myself, yes. We are adjourned at 9:30 p.m. Thank you.
Pen.
Julie Randall.
Did you want to go down? John, are you here?